Pisces. You got so much in your brain right now, and it is really funny because it flickers on and off. I feel that Pisces have a very silly situation on their hands, and I feel we all with Pisces in us, or 12th house activity that's over the top, probably even, have got a knowing or like a feeling that nothing's gonna work here. Nothing's gonna work here. It's almost like, you know, it's like you can just stop and feel, and you can just hear like things kind of shift around, and you can see that there is nothing really tangible, practical made yet until probably the end of the year, until the end of 2017. Like the reveal is not going to be there till probably like the 23rd, you know what I mean, of December, because everything is kind of like stuck. Everything's stuck, but it looks very active. And this is the joke of life, I think, that a lot of people are playing with. People thinking that they can go anywhere. Perhaps people think that they're pretending to live a life that they don't want to live, or they're seeing something, they're feeling something, they're ripping their shirt up, you know, like, oh, look at me. But you can kind of see that nothing really happens here until later in the year. So basically, if you wanted to, you could just disconnect completely. You can just disconnect completely, and this is a really funny thing because you might see that people are plastic to each other, and there's like a cardboard energy behind the scenes. So you might see people walk in and out of rooms and they're not seen. It's almost like the quantum space is breached, and the true psychosis of people is coming out on their face. So the true intention or the true power or disempowerment spectrums are seen, as you probably can see in me as well. Like people are seen. And you probably don't want to admit or don't even want to know how much you can see. And it might be even disappointing or like strangely concerning that other people can't read each other. Can't read each other. You know, it's like you might find that people in front of you, like husband and wife, don't know what each other's talking about. You know, you might find that people at the same desk, you know, sat together at the same desk at a studio, never really spoke the truth to each other. You might actually find that suddenly, when you're looking at somebody and you're trying to explain to them something very simple for you, very ordinary, their mind gets blown. They say, no way, I never thought that you would say something like this. And you're like, I've been saying this over and over for thousands of years. So basically, I feel that you're waking up to this really great frontier of you Pisces, where you're actually seeing between all lines, and to this point where time stands still and nobody actually exists. Everything is just like this. And I feel that perhaps you're also starting to understand that this is not life. That there is something inside each person that's screaming to get out and screaming to be heard, that cannot see itself, or it cannot see the other, cannot see anything around it. And you could perhaps, Pisces, become one of many people eventually, hopefully, with time, who cannot any longer stand when people are pretending to be not who they are. It's hard, you know, to pretend all the time, isn't it? It's not easy to be the one looking at people smiling when they're crying inside. It's not easy to see people try it on and try so hard to be something, but know that in the end it's not going to ever work. It's so harsh. It's so harsh, Pisces, to resemble a human being when what you see of humans isn't good enough. Because I feel that you've seen it all on some level, some stage, because a person does not get born a Pisces for nothing, you know. So it is a very strong, seemingly very weak and mild, but very powerful energy for people who kind of truly preserve us from knowing more. It's like, I feel that you're so kind and weirdly awesome, and also like a bit of a control freak maybe inside, Pisces, for not wanting people to realize how bored, how bored you might be, like seeing the world as how it is, how bored it might, like it might be, how boring it might be to see the world as kind of like a predictable bunch of people who are trying so hard not to be predictable, but at the same time becoming more and more trapped by their own prediction of who they think they might be. And then there's you. If you are a saint who travels, if you are a pastor at a church, if you're a powerful man or woman, if you have a lot of children, if you've got many opportunities for others, if you've got a big business that helps others live, if you ever have that type of opportunity, please take us and show us what the heck is going on. What the heck? Can you show us how to do it? How come? How quietly and passionlessly you can see, and how much we miss out because we don't know how to create the same type of calm. Yoga instructor, sure, you know, meditation guy, guru, guide, person of spirit, please let us please help ourselves by helping you with something, maybe by being around you, because this is the perfect time to become a saint. This is a perfect time to become a business person, perhaps a role model for others, and just any way so people can see you and touch your life and be around somebody as passionlessly enlightened as you during this time. It's a passionless enlightenment. It's like watching things come together, watching things fall apart, watching things that sparkle in the dark, and watching nothing at the same time. I feel that you can almost truly like predict and connect, but it's not even about that. It's past it. It's past. It's past it, because I feel that you can just kind of maybe a little bit enjoy the fact that we don't yet know, because that preserves us in a certain type of unconscious state, which gives you something to do, I suppose. I mean, can you imagine if everybody knew what was going on or how everything felt? That would be crazy. It's a very, very enlightening time to contradict oneself as well, you know, to plan something for the future and then to see yourself back out of it, you know, to create a certain type of model or a fortress and then to break it all to pieces or to change your mind. It's an interesting time to surprise who you were and to laugh and love and tear at yourself, not at somebody else. So it's like, for example, if you are tearing at somebody else for not loving you, if you are tearing up because your partner cannot see your truth, if you're tearing up because your children never grew up to be what they wanted to be, let alone what you thought about them when they were first born, which was probably correct, and like you're watching things go by, and it might be so nice to make this game of truth and false within and not without. So being the Prince Charming and the princess inside, being the giver of fate, or like the giver of gifts, but also the one that takes them away as well. You know, inside, to create an inner monologue, an inner drama. Monologues are great during this time, Pisces, can I say? Monologues are great. So because we are not yet quite worthy, perhaps, or maybe we are. I mean, if you are starting to run a course or a workshop, holy Moses, we are lucky. But if you aren't, that's okay, because if you are inside and if you have the charisma perhaps and the know-how to keep yourself occupied and to keep yourself smiling and happy by yourself, good Lord, you can do a lot. So for example, sitting there like myself quite often sometimes and just talking to myself, seeing different visions, feeling, creating different colors, saying things out loud, you know, noticing the sound of my voice change with different emotions, speaking from different chakra centers, you know, talking about my mother, the world and how I feel about it all. Keep in a now, yeah, definitely keep in a now, but you can go past and present and future, because you are very, very wild as a sign underneath it all. So maybe having a look at multiple dimensions as to how you can connect to you and not have to work with us, because we aren't there. We are terrible at it. We can't yet do it. We haven't got the masterful eye for detail that you do. We haven't yet got the plans or the needs or, you know, the maturity or the immaturity, the sainthood or the feeling to match yours. And we have to just shush and quiet and be around someone like you, or we have to give you space. And this sometimes happens too when people fade and you're just by yourself. How about that? When you are by yourself and you perhaps don't know what you've done wrong, and this isn't because you've been isolated for being a bad boy or girl. It's basically, yeah, a little bit of that as well. It's because you've gotten bored of everything around you being so pretty and yet so dark, or so interesting and yet unintelligent, and so predictable at the same time, and also not, you know, like you probably have grown bored, tired, or old through the experiences you've had, and if you are perhaps also dreamy enough or intimidating enough or interesting enough to other people, you might actually find that the support network grows when you don't. So sometimes to be alone is to really truly grow and develop and evolve, because nobody else could probably stimulate yourself quite like you do. You're in no man's land. You're Pisces. Goodness gracious. It's like the hermit and the deep dark secret of all life, that it is all just talking to itself. And the beauty of you basically throughout all this is that you can come back and go out and find that golden center this year for the rest of your life maybe as well, because we're in a very strong transitioning time for you. So I feel that you can go back to a person during this time. You can be maybe very afraid, but start something completely different than what you've ever seen. I feel you can alchemize and forge realities like you've never done before. I feel that this is a very perfect time to create peace and calm where before there was rupture and nervousness, and it is a very good time for you to connect to somebody, to connect. If you really desire them as your next situation only. So if you are interested in pulling some strings and making your reality as 2D as it might feel to you right now, as custom placed as possible, that could be nice. And also not to do things too harshly with others that aren't custom based. So for example, if you're seeing that there isn't really light where you are looking with a person, if you like not really seeing their light and you're sort of like wondering, what are they generating for you? What are you giving, and what are you receive? Like, what are you giving to yourself through this person as well? And if you are not sure, and you aren't enticed to find out, maybe it is time to cut things and to create a more meaningful past/future. So when you're looking back to this time, you'll see how well you've done. So thank you very much, Pisces. I hope this isn't being too confusing. I've got 3 books, but this is the one that I'm talking about. So this is the almanac for 2018. I know that was very swift and kind of weirdly creepy, but so yeah, this is the almanac for 2018. If you'd like to know more about your year to come, they're on sale now. They're good books. Nice, easy size, fits in your bag. Glossy cover, doesn't get marks on it easily. It's a planner. Basically, you write in things here. You know, you've got your week ahead. And you got, you know, like it's a nice little manual. It's a nice little portal to help you keep yourself probably occupied during the year, but also keep yourself interested in the future, as it's got quite a nice part of like miracle energy. It's like it's very crisp. It's very cuddly too. You know, there's a few mistakes and typos and things, as I'm sure you know with my work. Sometimes there's typos because they kind of like get a little bit taken, you know, when I'm channeling and stuff, we're reading for people. So yes, have a look. It is nice. It is on sale. It is $5 off because Amazon's crazy. And yes, enjoy. And I hope you have a wonderful end of your year and new miracle year. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.